John, this is Studio 1714, and we're this again in the heart of beautiful east side of Flint. And Steve Brewer can't be with us today because he's out earning a living, so I can't fault him for that. But we're sitting down with Vicky, and we've been talking about autism. And Vicky's son, Dalton, is 12 years old, and he has autism. And we're just previous segments we were dealing with the issues and stuff like that, and we're pretty much continuing with that right now. And is there anything more you'd like to bring out? Like you
Yes.
tell us some personal stories that are pretty scary, actually.
Yes. Dalton was taking Concerta, and he had been taking it for a while, and I think that he must have outgrown it or something because we were driving down the road, and Dalton, nothing was even being said. Dalton just kicked me, and I swerved the car, and the next thing I know, he was hitting me, and I didn't know what to do, so he had a hoodie on. I just took his sleeves, tied his sleeves together, and it kind of like sent a shock through him, like, wait a minute, she's caught on or something, I don't know. But this isn't the first. That one was the first one, but there's been several since then where it's been a physical problem with Dalton. And my problem with that is I have to figure out how not to react and how to regain control of the situation with very little equipment to help me do that. I have to figure out how to do that on my own.
You have to overcome also the natural impulse in humans is to strike back harder
Yes.
if somebody's been assaulting them.
When Dalton was little, though, I have spanked him before when he was little, and I think the only thing I did was I taught him that when you're mad, you hit people. Now, I'm not taking full credit for what he's doing, don't get me wrong there, I don't mean it like that.
Right.
But I can't spank him anymore, because that's not helping. So I have to find other ways, and the best way that I have found to deal with them is to, once all the physical parts, or usually I have to get people to come in and help me physically control him. And once he cools down and I cool down, then we just talk about it. And I tell him repeatedly, you cannot hit other individuals. It is against the law and you will go to jail for that. Even if you're 12, you can go to jail for that. And even hitting your mom, you can go to jail for that too. Some of the other problems though is, like I was telling you earlier, I have trouble finding babysitters because you can't always find somebody that can deal with Dalton properly, that is patient enough to deal with Dalton. I have no personal life because how do you bring a man into a situation like this? I can't even know how to go on dates. It's hard enough to find a babysitter while I work, let alone to turn around and find a babysitter while you go out for a good time. Besides the money angle, but still, that being out there on the plate. We have trouble just with little things. He is so routine. You throw the routine off, and you've thrown him off entirely. When we moved, he planted himself on the couch at our old house. And he said, I'm not moving anywhere. So we moved everything around him. It took us like 3 days to move. Finally, it come down to the couch in Dalton. So I said, Dalton, it's like this. Your family's moving. Your pets are moving. We're all going to the new house. All of our stuff's going to the new house. You really need to get up and let us move the couch. He said, I don't know why I have to move, but I guess so. So then he got up and we moved. But it was a big traumatic thing for him to move because we're now going out of familiar surroundings to unfamiliar surroundings, and it throws the whole routine.
Yeah, I think change is hard for most people to go through, but I mean, it's probably amplified almost immeasurably.
Yes. For anybody with autism, if you read the research, that's one of the main things is that they like routine, they don't like change. When we got a new car, he had a fit because he was used to the other car. Now, once he was in it for a little while, he was all right with it, but just that initial getting the new car, getting into the new car, caused problems.
Now, you've expressed like a severe frustration on dealing with the doctors around here. You like to probably put out ask a request to somebody out there with them.
I need somebody, if anybody knows of any decent neurologist or pediatrician. The ones I have, I'm not going to call their names out because I don't like to do that. But I'm not very satisfied with them because they don't listen. They don't hear what I'm trying to tell them. I live with Dalton. I see Dalton every day. I know what's wrong with him. Not to 100%, but I do know. And I've done the research. I've read the material. And the doctor pretty much just brushed me off with the information that I took to him. So I need, if there's anybody out there that knows of a good neurologist or a good pediatrician here in Flint, Michigan, or somewhere near the surrounding Flint, Michigan, I could use some help.
And also, you've also got some materials here from online sources, obviously. This one is from the special needs children and also autism sites, to various autism sites. You know, I tell people if you're interested and you're seeing this and you never heard much about autism, I myself know minuscule a little bit about it. I mean, I went through several classes and dealt with, you know, psychological issues and neurological issues and stuff, but this is not really, they just touch upon it. And this obviously indicates there's a lot more out there.
Yes.
And another thing is, Scott, just say that, you know, this just goes to show us that a lot of our lives go by so easy for most of us. And we kind of tend to disregard or not even think about that. There are people out there struggling with issues that none of us will ever probably have to deal with. And these are, I mean, this has got to be draining on you as emotional and
emotionally, physically at times, mentally. Look how long it took me. I wanted to do this in April. This is now May. Look how long it took me to get the time to get the information together, to read it, to go over it, to be able to say to you correctly and properly what I wanted everybody out there to hear.
yeah, because plus you have a daily schedule at work.
Yes.
A variant schedule on that.
Dinner.
And that also, you constantly changing your hours probably does upset.
It does.
Yeah, Dalton.
Very much so, because I don't have a set schedule, and I kind of need to look for another job where I could get a set schedule, because it would be so much easier. My babysitter at the moment is my daughter, and she's getting ready to graduate. Once she goes on with her life, I can't hold her back to babysit Dalton. She didn't have him, I did. You know, I need to find a new babysitter, and Lord knows what kind of problems that's going to run into. You know, I'm sure that probably the first one won't be the only one. You know, I might have to go through several to find one that can actually tolerate some of Dalton's quirks. And I just call it quirks because it's what he does. Like, every day he plays cars. All right, every day. He's 12. He knocks them down. He calls it a battle. The cars battle each other. You know, and every day he plays his video game.
And also, I've seen him before throwing frisbee on the yard.
Yep.
He tosses them out and goes, picks them up and throws them again.
Yep.
He's not throwing to anybody,
Yep.
And he's got to have so many.
Yes.
He's got to have so many for,
At school, he has like 20 pencils that he carries around all day long. And if there's one missing, he knows that there's one missing. And he knows which one's missing.
Vicky, I just like to say that it's just, you know, you got a lot of challenges. I mean, I hate using that term because it's been overused, but I mean, there's like, you know, the human element is largely lost on the large population. So I'd like to thank you for showing up today. And
thank you as well.
And people just, you know, read up on autism and kind of try to develop an understanding about it. This is John, and this is Studio 1714.